In this episode of OG55, I'm joined by the Disney Italiano. Today, we're talking about the Frontierland signage at the Magic Kingdom in Florida. We're also talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure having some trouble with the animatronics. Up next, why are you laughing, Italiano? What is going on over there?
Sorry, folks, you won't know it, but in my head, it was something that OG and I were talking about before the recording, and it just hit my funny bone.
Here we go. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. Today, we're talking Frontierland at the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Florida, and we're talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And before we do that, George, Mr. Funny Bone, how you doing today, sir?
Doing good. It's always a good time talking parks, news, entertainment, all that good jazz. It's always a good time here on Orange Grove 55.
Yes, all that jazz in theme with Tiana's.
Yep.
Where can everybody find you on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There we go. All right, our first story of the day is courtesy of BlogMickey. Now, we actually did a show with Capture the Magic. Jared over there at Capture the Magic, friend of the channel, absolutely. He's actually coming on this channel very, very soon, so look out for that. But we kind of touched upon this. He brought this to our attention, right, George, the signage thing. And it led to a very interesting conversation. But it says here, is this a sign? Both Frontierland entrance signs now missing at the Magic Kingdom. It says over the next few years, Frontierland will be changing into Frontierland. Okay. A better Frontierland with cars that talk. Walt Disney World has announced ambitious plans to drain and demolish the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island to prepare for the construction of a Cars-themed land. Work on Cars-themed expansion to Frontierland will start this year after Disney gets through the permitting process and closes the aforementioned experiences. In the meantime, Frontierland is in a state of flux, and Big Thunder Mountain will be closed until 2026. So here's the thing. So these signs are missing. We know for a fact that Disney is, at least with the Cars Land area, sort of taking the Frontier theme in kind of a new direction, more of like a, maybe, what would you say, George? Like an exploration? Like exploring new frontiers?
New frontier, yeah. Kind of like with like, exploring like with the landscape and what have you in a more up-to-date fashion.
Yeah, so getting away from this like kind of cowboy frontier, you know what I'm saying? And they're kind of doing a little bit more of a generalized exploration, new frontier kind of thing, which is interesting new direction. I don't see that really happening here in California. They are doing it in Florida, which is very, very interesting. What do you think, George? Do you think that now Jared was saying these signs have been missing for a while?
They've been missing for a while, which I was not aware of, nor when you look at what the signs looked like, there was nothing really wrong with them. Like they didn't need fixing. They didn't need any kind of TLC. The signs looked relatively fine, as far as like what they are, but both signs are missing, not just one, but in Iger fashion too. And what's also interesting as well, we also did recently a video with Drew the Disney Dude. Definitely check that out. Phenomenal conversation here on the channel as well.
We love Drew. He's a friend here on the channel. Like we just love, like seriously, like we could do like 4-hour videos with that guy. Like
we really could. Yeah. He you can definitely hold a conversation with Drew for sure. And he touched upon the notion that within like the 30-day range from when Disney submitted to the Water Management District that the 30 days is almost pretty much up at this point.
Right.
So now we're just waiting for that announcement, green light when that starts. So Disney might be preparing small things little by little, knowing that once the Water Management District approves them to go forth with the Cars Land construction to remove Tom Sawyer Island and the rivers of America, that may be a significant change to the land itself. And Frontierland may not be called Frontierland anymore. So Disney might be getting themselves prepped for new signage.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think what they'll do, this is just my prediction, like pure speculation. I think they're going to keep the Frontierland name, but I think they're going to continue to expand that new direction of the theme that they're starting with Cars Land and broaden that frontier theme out. So I think it'll still be called Frontierland, but I think we're going to see a vast I can't even pronounce. I won't even bother with that word.
Minimalization.
Yes, exactly. A vast pullback of this cowboy kind of thing, right? It's gonna be a much different sort of like that Cars Land thing will be expanded upon. Not necessarily with the Cars theme everywhere, but I think in general, just the overall area will take a different approach to it.
Now I'm assuming the Cars area will be part of Frontierland, so it'll be like a land within a land sort of thing.
Well, that's a good question too. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, what do you think? You think it'll still be part of Frontierland? I thought they said didn't Tomorrow make a joke like Front Tire Land or something?
Like someone was saying like Front Tire Land. Yeah, so I mean, it could just be a Cars area, not necessarily a Cars land that's just kind of intermixed within Frontierland.
I think that's kind of what they're going for, So I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of Disney diehards, a lot of Disney, purists or what have you are going to have a hard time with this change. I mean, they're already having a hard time with the Rivers of America going away. I got to be honest. I wasn't super impressed with the Magic Kingdom when I was there. I got to give it another go though. I want to go back at least one more time to get like to form like a more well-rounded opinion. We were only there one day, and I had multiple days with Animal Kingdom and Epcot, but I don't know. Even Hollywood Studios, I told you, George, when we were there, I was like, this park isn't too bad at all. I really enjoyed Hollywood Studios. Magic Kingdom was the one park where it felt soulless, it felt corporate, it felt paint by numbers. It didn't feel right. And it could be because my standard for Castle Park is really high because we have Disneyland out here. It just didn't work.
It's not even just you, because I've noticed the difference. See, because I went to Magic Kingdom before visiting Disneyland. And Magic Kingdom for me was always the go-to park. Right. I loved going to Magic Kingdom. And I still enjoy going to Magic Kingdom. Don't get me wrong. But I definitely have seen a difference since being back to Magic Kingdom after visiting Disneyland so many times. And when you start to compare those apples and oranges, it's like, whoa, it's like night and day. That when you said that Magic Kingdom is basically the live action version of Disneyland, you hit the nail right on the head, because that's literally what it is.
That's what it is.
People would just be open-minded with this Cars area. And because along with the adjacent that it'll be connected to Villains Land, it'll give Magic Kingdom its own identity, as it not just being a separate castle park from Disneyland, but it'll be something new, something different, but something to look forward to. That it's like, okay, if we want to experience Villains, if we want to experience this new Cars themed area, we got to go to Walt Disney World. We got to visit Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, when you get from when you get from out of the shadow of Disneyland and you kind of go in a different direction, and Magic Kingdom takes on more and more of its own identity, I think that's good for Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. You keep the Rivers of America at Disneyland. They're not going to get rid of the Rivers of America at Disneyland because it's a moneymaker for that park. It wasn't a moneymaker for Walt Disney World. We have Fantasmic on that river. Dining packages are big money. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to get rid of it here because it's way too it's way too profitable. It's a revenue source at this point, right?
And
In
aside
Florida,
from Phantasmic too, just the aesthetics of the river at Disneyland fits so much better. The kinetic energy when you're
yeah,
possibly sitting at like the River Belle Terrace or Cafe Orleans, you look out, you see the Mark Twain, the Columbia ship. It just everything just fits together, and you don't get that feel when you're at Magic Kingdom.
no, yeah, it's different. It hits different, and I'm open to something different. Look, I remember all the complaining and all the feet kicking over Hollywood Tower Hotel becoming Marvel. I remember those days back, years and years ago when they did that in what they announced it, I think in 2016, 2017, something like that.
2016, I think.
Yeah, and fans were in an uproar over that, and it ultimately turned out better, right? I know it's a little different. I mean, the history isn't there for a Tower of Terror at DCA, but I think we're going to be okay. I think this is going to give Magic Kingdom its own flavor, and that's what it really, really needs to get out of this kind of like Disneyland light kind of thing that it has going on right now. So I think it's good. I think it'd be good. And then Villains Land is going to take it to a whole nother level. That park, it turns the Magic Kingdom into a real Magic Kingdom now. All right, you got the villains in there. I mean, that's dope. That's really dope. But we'll see. I'm glad Jared brought this to our attention with the Frontierland signage, because I think there's something to that. I mean, he was saying that these signs have been gone now for a while. They are probably looking to reimagine this stuff, and we're probably going to get new signage to reflect the new direction of the new theme. Frontierland in name, but way different approach. Kind of like DCA, to be honest with you. It's still Disney California Adventure, but the original version of that park was a much more realistic sort of portrayal of the state, where this new California Adventure is much more of the state seen through Disney IP. So yeah, we'll show you Route 66, which is very California, but it's seen through that Pixar Cars franchise. Yeah, we'll show you Los Angeles, but it's seen through the eyes of Walt coming to the city, right? Oh yeah, we'll show you a pier, a seaside pier, but it's seen through Pixar characters. So same theme technically as California, but it's done in a different way. I think that's what we can look forward to when it comes to Frontierland. It's Frontierland, but a different approach. Is that kind of where you're at, where your head's at with this, George?
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. We will absolutely see. But we have another story, our last and final story of today, which is courtesy. We have Mr. Mondo from Five Fires and Disney Scoops Guy. We're going to start off with Disney Scoop Guy. Tiana's, this is Disneyland's version. Not doing so great with the animatronics right now. Not doing so great, okay? That's the first animatronic going up the lift hill. This is courtesy of Disney Scoop Guy. We have Mondo, Mr. Five Fires here, says, kind of crazy seeing these Tianas struggling at Disneyland, because come May 16th, the Walt Disney animatronic is on his way. I can only assume they won't let this happen at all to Walt, right? This is the thing, and we've talked about this on this show before too. You cannot have a Walt Disney animatronic and have it malfunction like this. I mean, honestly, it's bad enough show right now with Tiana's, and he's right, Matt, that Tiana's deserves better. Having Walt, the founder of the company, who was a master innovator, he was known for pushing the envelope, having an animatronic likeness of him malfunctioning is the ultimate bad show, in my opinion. So this is something that I think Disney's really going to have to figure out. But not to get too far off the beaten path with the Walt thing, what are your thoughts on Tiana's, George?
I think it's unfortunate. I feel like the hype for this attraction, whether it was positively or negatively received for whatever standard each individual had, all in all, this is still a brand new attraction. Yes, I get it that it was replacing a beloved attraction in a structure that was there since the 90s, but it's still a brand new attraction. So these are brand new audio animatronics, and for the ride to just open up just recently, it's fairly new, and not just one, but majority of the audio animatronics not working. I don't understand of like how many they put these things through how many tests, and I don't get why it's so difficult to have them work properly during park operations.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't. I mean, look, we get called pixie dusters and shills all the time. You know what I'm saying? And we'll praise Disney when it's worth praising, but when they mess up, we'll call it out as well, right? And this is one of those moments where Disney, come on, you know. Look, I mean, I get it. Like if you're doing this, like like test and adjust period, or like soft openings. I mean, this kind of stuff is okay. I remember people were making all kinds of issues with Tiana's early on in this process when it was soft open. And there was all kinds of reports out there about how bad everything is when they were just testing it. And I pushed back on that because I was like, come on, this is a ride that you're going to have to work the kinks out. Give it some time to work those kinks out. That's what soft opens are for. But you can't apologize for this. You can't apologize for this when the attraction's been open, since at Disneyland since what, November?
Yeah.
It's been a couple months now, and we're still having these problems. There's no excuse for it. There really is no excuse for it. If there's issues, big issues, close the ride down, Disney, for a few weeks or whatever it is, and get everything sorted and fix it. Bring it back online when it's actually operating. But this is not a good show. It's really, really not a good show. I hope they take care of it.
And kind of going back to what you were saying about the Walt animatronic, if they notice anything is out of the ordinary, that the Walt animatronic may malfunction or it's not working that day, as much as people might be disgruntled, they cannot open the show until they get things situated. Because if they say, oh, well, we got to open up the show, people are going to be disappointed, and the curtains open and there's Walt malfunctioning, having the shakes, doing the dab or whatever.
Or spouting off Chapek lines.
Apologize for not being the ally that you needed me to be.
There you go.
That too. You just never know. It is not going to go well.
No, it's not. You got it. The Walt animatronic has to be. I'm telling you, this Walt animatronic can either be the most genius, brilliant, goosebump inducing experience as a Disney fan you'll ever see, or it can be the shit show to end all shit shows because of the gravity of this. This is the guy who founded the company.
Yeah.
Literally sharing the stage with his idol, Lincoln. You can't fuck this up, Disney. This thing has to work. You know what I'm saying? This thing has to work. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. But it worries me. It really does worry me because Disney does have problems with animatronics and stuff like this lately. We'll see how it works out. But we've talked about it quite a bit here on the channel. But come May, what we got? What is it now? January, basically almost February. So we got February, March, April. We got 3.5 months basically until the Walt thing opens.
Yeah.
We'll see. I hope it's a success, though. I really do, because I think it could be a really beautiful thing to experience. And I think if it is a success, I think Disney World will probably get a version of this. Maybe not necessarily in the same form or the same show. Maybe a Walt animatronic at Carousel of Progress or something like that. But I think they're gonna do more of these Walt animatronics if it's a hit out here in California. So I'm rooting for it, But
yeah, I am too. I want it to be successful. I do agree with you. I think if it does work out well, they will make more audio animatronics of Walt, just like they did like the partner statues and the storyteller statue. I feel like for Walt Disney World, they'd probably put him somewhere in Epcot, maybe where he's like talking about the Florida project and everything and everything. My ambitious idea was to put him in the Carousel of Progress, but like at the very beginning of the show before it actually starts, and you open up the curtains and there's Walt and the Sherman brothers,
Oh,
and
dude.
all three of them are singing "A Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow."
I'm telling you, George, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Or you can have them at the ticket booth trying to sell tickets.
And there's the biggest bargain of all.
There you go. There you go. I haven't used that drop in forever.
Yeah,
But
I forgot you had that one.
yeah, it's been a long time. I'm too busy over here repping the West Coast, you know.
Woke up looking for the broccoli.
There we go. There we go. But Mr. Italiano, fantastic conversation today. We talked Frontierland over at Magic Kingdom and Tiana's, which, come on, Disney, get your act together. Let's get these animatronics fixed. If you got to shut it down, get it fixed, and bring it back. But
I wanted to ask you really quick before we do, and we could probably actually talk to Ebba about it too, because he brought it to my attention when I was talking with him. But I wanted to get your thoughts on it. He brought up the hanging scene in the Haunted Mansion, and we were talking about it. And if Disney does remove it, he was kind of concerned that if they go that route, then what does it mean for Villains Land? Because essentially you're getting rid of something that's a little bit more darker, a little bit more kind of like on the edge. So does that lead down the beaten path that Disney would kind of dilute the Villains Land, so to speak?
I don't think so. And I think they're kind of different things. You're dealing with Villains Land, you're dealing with like scary fictional character setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the concern from Disney's perspective with the hanging scene at the Haunted Mansion is because it depicts a situation. I don't want to get too much into it with YouTube, and I don't want to trigger anybody that might have that issue either, who that watches this. But that particular scene it's a very serious subject matter.
There's more realism too.
Very much so. It's a real thing for many, many people. And I think that's the concern. They're trying to be sensitive, right? Mm-hmm. Villains is like, you can be scary and have Maleficent and a creepy dragon and the Horned King, and it's scary, but that's not the same as like, the hanging scene. It hits differently with people, I think. So no, I think we're okay. I think we're absolutely okay with Villains Land. But you're not going to get, really in Villains Land, you're not going to get like HHN style stuff in there anyway. It was never going to be that, So all I want is like, it feels magical, right? Like a Wizarding World kind of like vibe. And that darkness, and you can hear the scary like moans and groans.
Like Villains Grove. Like if they did Villains Grove, but like permanently throughout the whole entire land.
Yeah, and I think that's what they'll do. Something like Villains Grove. That at least that vibe, that energy is what they want to tap into. I don't think we're gonna get anything that's like overly crazy, So, but we'll see. We'll see. As long as they don't water it down to a point where it's like, oh gosh, here's the Ursula spinner. Please, Disney, no. And I don't think they're gonna, but that would be bad.
Yeah,
very bad. Don't cheap on this, Disney. Do not go that route. Do not put.
Do not make a Pixar pier a Villains pier.
Yeah, come on. Like, let's keep this like I said, if you tap into that, what Universal did with like Wizarding World is really kind of like that, the aesthetic you want for it. Like it's magical, but it's dark magical. You know what I'm saying? It has that like darkness to it. And then you can do it that way. And then you can have the villains and it can be kind of scary and creepy, but that wouldn't be too intense for kids. I think you're fine if you keep it like along those lines, but we'll see.
And then also Demaro said there's not going to be any happily ever afters in Villains Land, and the villains will always like kind of triumph through whatever they plan on doing, and there's no heroes either. So,
well, we'll see. Yeah, I hope they stay true to that. I hope that's not like a Demaro thing, like a throwaway whatever thing that he puts out there. I hope he means that, because I would love to see these attractions end with an unhappy ending. You know what I'm saying?
Sort of like how Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is. Basically, you get hit by a train, you go to hell, and then that's the ride.
And that's the ride. I would love to see stuff like that. I hope Disney has the guts to do that. I really to follow through with that, you know. I hope they do. We'll see. But Mr. Italiano, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There he is. Everybody comment down below with all your thoughts on Villains Land, on Frontierland or Frontierland, and also on the Tiana animatronic. We would love to hear from you. We're going to end this video like we always end this video with the magnificent, beautiful, amazing Asian queen with 3 E's. I'm telling you, I told George, her Instagram, I mean, every reel, she's hotter than the last one. And she's showing off at this point. It's out of control. Out of control. Asian Queen, you are an absolute treasure. Here we go, everybody. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.